Intricacies of the food industry. Number 5. Not many people pay attention to food labeling. Even if you are one of those who does pay attention, food companies aren't always transparent when they design their labels. Ingredients are listed according to volume, with the one on the top being the most prevalent in the product, and so on. Look out for sugar at the top of the list. The higher up it is, the more sugar there is in the food. Beware of many names for sugar though. High fructose corn syrup and evaporated can juice might not sound like sugar, but that's exactly what they are. By separating up the variations of sugar in a product, it can list much lower than if it were added together as sugar itself. It means a company can make their product seem healthy by manipulating which ingredients are higher up the list. Number 4. Gluten-free is all the rage with people striving for good digestive health. In America, nearly a third of the population avoids gluten in their diet. As well as being allergic to gluten, known as celiac disease, it is quite common to have an intolerance to it. You have to watch out for foods advertised as gluten-free though, as they're not always very good for you. Often, a bunch of sugar is added, and the gluten is substituted with unhealthy high glycemic starches, such as from corn, tapioca, and potato. Number 3. It's become common knowledge that foods which use the whole of the grain are healthier than alternatives. In fact, there is nothing to say that eating food rich in whole grains is any more healthy than not eating the grains. They are healthier than non-whole grain foods, however. A lot of cereal is advertised as being whole grain food. There's a difference between whole grains and mushed up whole grains though. These cereals do have all the grain in them, but the fact that it is as a flour means that any healthy benefits of eating the whole grain is lost. In fact, they act in the same way as refined grains, raising blood sugar quickly and causing a sugar slump afterwards. Just having whole grain doesn't make something healthy. It's highly likely that there are all sorts of unhealthy additions too. Number 2. Labels are there to give information about what's in the product. It's quite common for companies to advertise that their food is trans fat free, but what this means might not be what you would expect it to. Trans fat free only means that food has less than half a gram per serving. That's not none, despite what the label says. You can find out if your favorite products have trans fats in them by looking for hydrogenated fat on the ingredients menu. This is another name for trans fats. Just because something has no or low trans fats doesn't mean it's healthy. Vegetable oils aren't so good for you either. Number 1. When fat became demonized by the healthy eating advocates, the result was processed foods with some or all of the fat taken out. The irony is that these manufactured goods are not at all good for you. Often the taste is affected when the fat is removed. To counteract the lack of taste, chemicals and sugar are added. In fact, it's not the fat we should be avoiding but the sugar, making supposedly healthier lower fat foods less healthy than the full fat versions.